If you go over to somebody else's house, what appliance do you generally have the most trouble with?
I would want nothing to do with somebody's dishwasher or washing machines or dryer.
I can usually figure out the stove pretty well, and I can figure out the shower pretty well, but it takes me forever. Like, I don't understand the settings on somebody else's microwave.
I don't know why anyone would struggle with a microwave. There's usually a knob or buttons, and you put in the time and press start. Like that's not confusing to me. Showers, you bring up a good point about the shower. Shower might actually be it for me. Showers can be a little tricky if you don't know, if you're not familiar with whatever one you're using.
See, the way that you feel about the microwave is the way that I feel about the shower. I feel like it's a shower. You pull out the thing and turn it to the temperature. Like, they all work the same. Microwaves can have different power levels. They can have different settings if you're going to use defrost. I think a microwave is much more complicated than a shower.
But some showers have the knob at the bottom on the spigot where you have to pull that up to get it going, or some of the older ones you have to pull it down out of the head itself. It's just can be kind of difficult.
I did once stay in a place that had the shower where you had to pull the knob down out of the faucet.
Yeah,
didn't know about that, and it probably. We had to call somebody. We had to call someone how does this thing work? Because I had never run into that before. I want to say it might have been 2 hours for us to figure out how to get that shower working.
I think this is more of a rare occurrence, but if there is a bidet on the toilet, I could see a lot of people struggling with that.
I have never used a bidet in my life. I've never used one.
Yeah. There are some people that preach them as the Bible. I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of having a stream of water shoot up my asshole, but that's just me.
It is kind of weird how we clean ourselves like that. Like, wait a minute, you're just gonna wipe some paper on that? You're just and that's you call it good? Like, that's I don't really feel like that is the best. It's 2024, and the best way we have found to clean up after ourselves after going number 2 is just well, wipe it with some paper. Like, we don't have anything better. What's going to revolutionize the wiping industry? Anyway, I polled the audience about this question. If you're at a home other than your own, what appliance confuses you the most? What do you think most people said?
The microwave.
Most people said microwave. 35% said microwave, 30% said washer dryer, 24% said dishwasher, 11% said stove. A stove is pretty standard. You're not usually going to have too much trouble with a stove.
All right, well, let's give some shout-outs then. Tim Wood, Chris Toledo, maybe one of the worst cities in the country, by the way, Toledo.
Yeah. You're going to have to hear about that every time. Would you rather be named after a city, a state, or a country?
Man, probably a state.
You'd rather be named at Nebraska or Ohio, Kansas. I think you can be named after a city a lot better than you can be named after a country or a state. Because you could be named like Dallas, Austin. I think a city name is going to be better than if you're named after a country. You don't want to be named, what's your name? Uruguay. That's not.
Bangladesh. I'd say state. Hey, my name is Montana Shull.
There's a couple of states, but my argument would be that there's more cities that you could be named after that would go well than states.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that, but I think states would be better. I don't know. That's just I don't even really have a real reason. That's just my thought. All right. Moving on here before we put everyone to sleep. Sebastian Joy, River Cole, Paul Skubik, R.D. Hill, James Anderson, Chad Perkins, Joshua Bailey, Brian Viet, and we'll end here on Stash Stevenson.
That's an interesting name. Okay.
All right. Well, figured we'd have some fun with this one here tonight.
Okay.
Whatever it is. So simple topic here of would you rather. So
Oh, okay.
give
I
you
always like
give
those.
you give you a couple of scenarios here, whatever, and we'll let's have a little fun with it. So first one here, very simple. Would you rather go to a movie theater or see live music?
Live music. I would rather go see live music, especially now, because why would you want to go pay like however much you have to pay to go to a movie theater when they're just going to put it out on streaming? Plus, I don't think that there's really that many movies that are like, oh, I need to see that at a theater. I've never been that kind of person. So definitely live music. Like you can't get that somewhere else. Like I can watch a movie at home. I can't watch it. Like you can't watch a concert at home. That's not the same thing. So
Do
easily live music.
Do you remember your first concert and your first movie?
My first movie may have been Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hell yeah.
I think I don't remember how old I was though, but that was my first movie was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My first concert was Peter, Bjorn, and John with my wife. And
Uh,
I didn't go to my first concert till I was in my almost 30.
wow. Okay.
Wasn't my
Uh,
thing. Wasn't my
yeah.
thing at all until I met her. What was your first movie and first concert?
I'm not proud of the concert. But first movie was Jurassic Park when
That's
I
a good one.
was 6 or 7, and I remember that specifically too because my mom backed into a pole and it completely caved in the back of her truck at the time when she was picking us up and dropping us off. Which
Wait a minute. Was how hard did she hit the pole that it like a truck shouldn't do that? As a truck owner, did she really hit the pole or was it a crappy truck?
I mean both probably.
Both. Okay. That makes more sense.
But I think the real question is, what was she doing dropping off a bunch of 6 and 7 and 8 year olds at a movie theater by themselves? I don't
It's a
know.
different time, man. It's a different time.
In concert, my first concert was Toby Keith.
That's an interesting. How old were you?
I was 12 or 13.
At a Toby Keith concert?
My dad got tickets through his
Right.
work, and I went with my mom and my dad and my friend John Collier at the time, and we went and saw Toby Keith, and yeah, I mean,
So there was your mom, your dad named John, you named John, and your friend named John. So there's 3 Johns and your mom in the car?
3 Johns, yeah, and my mom all in the car at the same time.
Man. Okay. Interesting first concert is Toby Keith.
Yeah, I will say this about Jurassic Park. I think I've seen that movie probably more than any other movie I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen Jurassic Park probably 100+ times.
Man. The only movie that I would say like, oh, I saw that in a theater and I'm glad I saw that in a theater was The Force Awakens. Any other movie I could care less about, like, oh, wherever I saw it is wherever I saw it. Seeing it in a theater doesn't mean anything to me.
Remember a few years later, a buddy of mine, his dad was like, "I'm going to take you and your friend here, John, to go see Saving Private Ryan."
Oh.
You know, I mean, listen, the movie's serious, it's a well done movie, whatever. But like, just imagine once again, we were 9 or 10 or 11 sitting in the movie theater watching Saving
That's not
Private
the
Ryan.
movie to see.
Yeah, not the movie to see. All right,
Okay, okay.
back to would you rather here. Would you rather go missing while hiking and be found 10 days later, or be forced to sit and stare at a constant stream of social media for 16 hours a day for 10 days?
Oh, I'd much rather go missing. I would
You
much
really
rather
would.
go missing. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't think that I can look at social media like pretty frequently throughout the day. I probably check one of the various things once an hour, but I don't think I could ever be on there for more than 5 minutes at a time. That's about my limit for any social media platform is 5 minutes. And like, all right, that's enough of that. I couldn't scroll like that for a long time. No.
I mean, I'm going to sound like an old man here, but I just don't know what's real anymore. Like, I don't know. I have, and I'm in the media, by the way, just for one, but I have found myself falling into that trap a couple of times where I'm like, oh, that might be real, and it's absolutely not real. But just the way it's presented, it just seems so real. I mean, it's tricky out there. It's tricky out there in those streets.
Yeah, but I think there's work with the assumption that everything is kind of fake and you'll probably be okay.
Are we fake?
Maybe. We might not really even exist. We could live in the Matrix. We could be nothing but computer simulations.
It was kind of weird. My youngest daughter the other day, I was outside sitting there, and she walks up to me and she goes, "Dad, what is Earth?" And I was like, "Oh, that's like the religion question. That's a whole loaded question there, young lady."
I like to enjoy edibles on Friday and Saturday nights and occasionally Sunday. I actually have 2 sitting right next to me that I'm going to take as soon as we're done recording this and just have a good time watching YouTube videos. But like, if you think about anything, it's crazy that all of this is real. Like, your body is basically just a giant puppet controlled by your brain. Like, there's just a brain in there moving all this around. Like, that's insane to me. Like, wait a minute, all of this, like, your hands are just controlled by this one little thing inside of your head, and that dictates everything. You're essentially a giant puppet.
Yeah. So, anyways, those edibles you're taking, can you pass some? Can you send some over here?
I'll send you some. Also, think about the fact that the Earth is currently moving through the universe at 65,000 miles an hour. Like, that's insane. It is insane to think about that.
That was definitely something that I was trying to tell her about, like, because she was like, how is the Earth round? Like, why aren't I falling off? She's 4 years old. Like, she's not going to understand anything. But man, if you really think about it, like, it's pretty incredible, really. Like, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like sometimes I do think, like, some people who believe in the idea that we live in a matrix or whatever, that this is all virtual reality or whatever. Like, that's one of those things that if I found out that was true later in life, I wouldn't be like totally shocked. I'd be like, oh yeah, I could see that.
I mean, we should not talk about it here, but I'm always fascinated by what people think happens when you die. Like, yeah, I like what happened. Like, do we reset? Do we go into the Matrix? Like, it's all these things. Like, no one knows, or do you just die?
Do you want my high theory that I came up with yesterday that I was sitting there thinking about?
Only if you were extremely high.
I was pretty high and I thought about this. So we are essentially made up of matter and matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed. So in some senses, you have always existed and always will exist. Like, parts of you were around at the beginning of the universe and will be there at the end of the universe. So in some ways, like, you never really die. And there are billions upon trillions of parts of you, from like neutrons and protons and electrons and all this stuff. And you will go and live trillions of other lives throughout the length and breadth of eternity. That's insane. Like, so you never really die in some ways. You just go and turn into somebody else or turn into something else. Like, you could be a tree. Parts of you will decompose when you die, and you could be used for like a tree. Or you could be like a worm's butthole. Like, you could do all kinds of things and go all kinds of places. You could be part of the space shuttle. Life's crazy, man.
Just so everyone knows, Nick nor I are currently under the influence of edibles.
But think about that. Think about the fact that, like, parts of you have existed since the dawn of time and will always exist.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I mean,
well, it doesn't matter. It's like scientifically proven. It's not a matter of belief. It's like 2 + 2 is 4. Like, you are stardust.
Once again, I don't know if I'm stardust.
I mean, not
shout
like
out to
literally.
Cody Rhodes, by the way, WWE.
Oh, is he Stardust? Whatever happened to Gold Dust? I thought Gold Dust was. Is he now Stardust? Is Gold Dust Stardust brother?
I'm gonna really blow your mind here.
Okay.
Gold Dust and Stardust are brothers in real life.
Oh yeah, well that makes sense.
Yeah, Dustin Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, both the sons of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Anyways,
wait, was Undertaker Kane's brother or not really his brother?
I mean, no, he was not his actual brother, but he really he was his brother. He was his brother. I mean,
okay.
Anyways, wow, that was 5 minutes. No one will ever.
I take great comfort in that idea that parts of you have always existed and will all exist.
All right. Well, anyways, getting me all hot and bothered over here. Would Would you rather spend the rest of your days alone and happy,
Yes.
or surrounded by family, friends, and just be, on the constant go? So would you rather be alone and happy, or busy but surrounded by your loved ones and possibly just semi-happy for the rest of your life?
I'd rather be with my family. I don't think that anybody really wants to be alone. Not if they... I do like alone time. How much alone time would you say you need in a day? What percentage of your day you need to be... I just need to be alone.
Oh, I mean, I would love 4 to 6 hours a day. I don't get that at all. I don't know. Sometimes I don't get it at all. I don't get any alone time.
I work from home, so I get a lot more alone time. I probably get 4 or 5 hours of just purely alone time a day. No, maybe 4. Yeah, maybe 3 to 4.
Yeah,
But no, I would much rather be with my family and be happy.
I don't. And I would love it.
I would wonder, and like, look, I'm not trying to judge here, but I would wonder how many people, what percentage of people would say that they would be truly happy alone. Like, they really don't need anybody. Not that they haven't kind of found anybody, or that they're just most people they don't like, but just like, no, I know people that I like and want to spend time with, and I would rather be alone.
I mean, when my kids are all grown and say my wife finds another man, which she probably will,
already has,
I would be very happy being by myself, I think. No questions asked.
I need at least 2 hours a day around other people. Other than that, I'm fine.
And I would say I love my family. I love my kids. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But if someone was to come to me and be like, in 15 years, you can just be alone and live out the rest of your days and just be happy and alone, I'd probably think about it.
I'm okay alone. I can spend a lot of time alone, but I've never spent a massive amount of time. Like, I've never spent like a week just completely isolated from other people.
I haven't either, but I mean, other than work I guess texting counts as social. I don't know. It's never going to happen. It was just a theoretical question.
Never. You live in a society, man. Is that all? Is that all? We got more.
That's it, man.
Okay. So our top 5 is top 5 public behaviors that annoy you. Is that what it is? What is our top 5? Oh, top 5 worst public behaviors. So things that people do in public that really bother you. What's your number 5?
The older I'm getting, this one is just I just don't get it. And that's people who are extremely early and then just hang around. It's a public behavior because they're just there, and you're like, why are you there? Your shift doesn't start for another 4 hours, or like, grandma, don't need you over here right now doing what you're doing. Like, come over in 2 hours like you said you would. It's so showing up early. Public behavior that's just annoying to me. Extremely early.
I do wonder if being on time is rude. I think in some places being on time is almost rude. Like, no. Especially with family. If family says come over at 5 o'clock, that doesn't mean actually be there at 5 o'clock. It means just be there to like 6 o'clock.
I'm okay with being punctual. I'm okay with even being a little early. But it's, it's the idea of getting somewhere hours ahead of time, or just showing up, and just assuming that, you're welcomed or this or that. It's just annoying to me.
I think what this shows is your lack of preparation. I think this shows your lack of preparation. The reason that you don't like it when people are early is because you're not ready. If you were ready, you wouldn't care if they were early. And you're not ready.
Guess what? I'm always ready. Always ready.
Were you ready when you tried to catch that baseball and tore your calf? Were you ready when you hurt your back picking up dog poop in the backyard?
I still regret calling the guy a goat fucker before I threw the pitch. That's what screwed me. That's what screwed me.
Yeah, dude, I never do that. I never try to call down the thunder. If I'm ever winning at something or trying to do well at something, I don't say a damn word. No word. Like if I was a professional fighter and they got to like, are you going to kick his ass? I'd be like, well, I don't know, maybe. I wouldn't call down the thunder.
His triceps are nice looking. He's kind of in shape.
I don't know. He's pretty tough. Like I would be the worst professional fighter because I would not say anything like, are you going to kick his ass? I'm going to kick your ass. Like, well, you might. I'm just hoping to have a good fight. Yeah. Like I'd be a terrible professional fighter because there would be no bravado whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I could go on a rant about professional fighting. I'm not going to, but
you gotta sell fights. My number 5 is people who don't control their dogs. Okay. I'm a dog person. I have a dog. I like dogs, but I've noticed that people are not controlling their dogs very well. Like, look, not everybody wants your dog to come up. Everybody wants to meet your dog. Like, you need to control your dog when you're around people. And part of this is because I have 2 kids. And, like, I don't think that adults realize how big a dog is to kids. And, like, they don't like that. I don't like it when people... I don't like it when people don't control their dogs. And people who walk their dogs without a leash in public, that to me is just the worst idea. Just the worst idea. I understand that you've trained the animal, but you don't know what that animal is going to do at the end of the day. Like, that just to me is just bad idea.
That's the thing, right? Is at the end of the day, they're still animals. So who knows? They could just snap and do something without even thinking, no matter how well trained that they are.
Exactly. Glad that you agree with me about this. I'm going to take my
I do. I'm attaboy. Atta kid. All right. So my number 4, I have like being loud, like laughing loudly, trying to draw attention to yourself, just being too loud. It's annoying. It's usually an attention thing. Just, yeah, it's my number 4, being too loud in public.
I have that higher on the list. I thought that you would have that much higher on the list, to be honest with you. Both of us do not like loud things. My number 4 is any kind of gross behavior. Just being gross, like anything like that. Being disgusting. Littering, I would also throw into that. Like, not kind of acting like we all share this, not acting like we don't all share this space together. Any kind of gross behavior.
Kind of that kind of falls into my number 3, except I don't have it like gross behavior, but I just have people who aren't courteous. And that could be holding a door or picking up the trash, or, you see it all the time at restaurants where people are kind of rude to servers and things. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, we're all here. We're all trying to share the space together. Like, everyone's either working or trying to have a good time. Like, so just being nice, being courteous, and people who aren't is my number
3. Okay. I can agree with that. My number 3, I just wrote meandering. But I think what I mean by that is like people who walk in the middle of anything. Like, don't walk in the middle. Don't walk in the middle of the sidewalk or the grocery store. Like, pick a side and get out of the way. Like, you know how some people seem to just go back and forth like this? Like, I can't get around you. Pick a side.
Man, we're kind of going tit for tat here, because my number 2 is I just have the people who are just, they're just carefree. Like, they just don't care about anyone else. And it's not that they're bad people, for the most part, I don't think. It's just annoying. Once again, like, there's more than just you that's walking on the sidewalk. Or, what really gets me is people with animals who, like that's it. Like, they're walking their dog. There's nobody else trying to walk on that path or going by them. It's just, yeah. So that's my number 2.
That actually leads into my number 1, which is main character syndrome. People who act as if other people do not exist and have no awareness that other people exist in the world. That's my number 1, is like when people just have no clue what the consequences of their actions, of their behavior. That drives me nuts. My number 2 is loud. I can't stand loud talking on speakerphones, loud cars. I hate loud things in public.
I should have put this with like my loud one was like people who talk on speakerphone. acting like nobody else is around them. Like, I can hear everything you're saying. Like, what? I mean, come on, man. Come on, man.
What does always crack me up though is when people talk in their cars, but you can clearly like hear their entire conversation because for some reason like you can't hear it in the car, but it blasts all over the place, and you can like hear somebody in their car talking or getting in an argument, and like, man, that's connected to your car's audio. We can all hear that. That I love it. I love that.
You ever have just one time in my life, I pulled up next to a GM. I had a GMC. I pulled up next to a GMC, and the call connected to my car, and, and the person was like, I think her name was Sherry, but the guy was like, Sherry, are you there? Shit, I didn't say anything. I just disconnected.
She would never have been able to explain that.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah,
never explain that.
That's why
you missed a once in a lifetime opportunity, man.
No, I didn't. Trust me, it went through my like. She obviously knew what happened. She was looking over at me. I was like, yeah, I don't want to get in the middle of, I don't want whoever that is to think like I'm in the car with you, because that's fucked. So,
if you called your wife and that situation happened to her, could she convince you that like that's what happened? Could she ever really convince you that like, no, your call connected to a car that was next to mine? There wasn't another man in the car. It connected to another guy's car. Do you think you could would she be able to convince you?
Yeah, but I think I'm a little gullible. I mean, yeah, I would believe my wife. I can't say that about every girl I've ever been with, but
I would agree with that.
But yeah,
my
wife, yeah, I would believe her.
You'd have to have a clean slate. If there was any marks on that slate, that's going to be pretty hard to convince somebody of.
Yeah, it sure would be. Did we say my number one yet?
No,
it's just I put down the butter inner, which makes no sense, but like the one upper, the person who in public may not even know who you are, may just have been walking by, but has to feel like they have to get into a conversation, or they have to give their 2 cents, or you could be sitting in a bar having a conversation, and then this person leans in and is like, well, 10 years ago I rode that bull for 9 seconds, and it's just like, nobody cares, man. Like, I don't care. Nobody does.
Maybe they're just trying to connect with you.
Well,
I don't want to say that they have a shared experience.
I don't want to connect. I just want to be alone.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, it is funny that how your emotional state colors all of your behaviors and all of your interactions with other people. Like, if you just want to be alone, you hate everything everybody does.
Those edibles kicking in yet?
No, I actually have it down. It takes me 27 minutes. I've got a system. I know exactly when to take them.
Well,
you got to work out a system.
Dinner's going to taste good.
Oh, God. Oh, I love it. Do you have anything in your honorable mention?
I mean, I have people, so like people who are just angry in public, like they're just pissed off and everyone else has to know that they're angry.
Angry people, yeah. I don't like angry people.
Hygiene doesn't bother me too much, but I will say like smelling, like people who have a distinct smell. Not a big fan of that one. And then the overdo it sports fan, like the person who is just like, they're not a real fan or like a real supporter, but God damn it, they're gonna let everybody know with their face paint and their $200 jersey. Like, it's just, that can be a little annoying.
The only thing that I had, which is kind of tied to loudness, was like people who listen to music in public. I don't want to hear your music.
Yeah, I don't.
I could never do that. I could never just walk down the street with music blasting. Like, I would never do that. I don't know. That's one of those behaviors that you just have to. You're doing that just to get a rise out of people, and I could never be that person. Have you ever done anything just to piss somebody off? Not like friends. Guy friends do that shit all the time.
I was gonna say, does my wife count? No, I mean, I mean, kind of like with driving, I try to avoid confrontation, and it's not because I'm afraid of getting into a fight or defending myself, or it's not anything to do with that. I just don't want to deal with it. So no, I never on purpose want to draw attention like that.
No, that's me too. I don't really go for any kind of confrontation simply because it's just not worth the time.
Like
Like
now,
I don't want to deal with this.
like I just want to go about my day, and I just don't want people to notice me. Yeah, man, I don't just want to be. Give me my banky and my blanket and send me to bed. Like that's it, man.